Okay, so in my in-person class, I assign students to write claims, like two statements. One statement is about the mean, the other statement is about a proportion. And then before I show you some examples, mostly I'm criticizing because we want students to be good at those, so we're very critical in the class. So first of all, the general idea is I would like you to try to write your claim so that your the claim means a statement that you want to prove or disprove, so that your claim is in the H1. And here's the reason why we want to put the H1 in put the claim in the H1, because use a jury trial example. The jury usually either delivers a guilty verdict or innocent verdict. When there's no enough evidence, they should deliver an innocent verdict. Does that mean the defendant is innocent? Not necessarily. It's just no evidence to say the defendant is guilty. So therefore, an innocent verdict will be delivered. When you have strong evidence, then you can prove. When you can prove the defendant is guilty, then we will reject HO. So whenever you reject HO, you can prove something. When you fail to reject HO, you cannot prove something. Okay, so therefore, when you want to prove your claim or something that you believe or something you don't believe, you try to word it so that it's in H1. Okay, so that's my point number one. So I'll show you some examples now. For instance, let's take a look at this statement. The average number of hours spent on homework by students is at least 3 hours. Now, if I rewrite this into a symbolic form, here's how I would write it. I see the average, therefore I will use the mean. It says at least 3 hours. That means at least means greater than or equal to 3 hours, right? And then how do I identify HO, H1? I'll write the opposite, which is less than 3. The one without, keep in mind, this is your claim, right? Keep in mind, the one without equal sign, that would be your H1. The one with the equal sign, that's your HO, and then we will write it into equal sign. Do you see that this case, this statement is translated into HO, which is something that we don't prefer. We prefer that claim should be in H1, right? So how do I rewrite this statement so that the H1 contains the claim? Here's what I would do. Instead of saying at least, let's say it's more than 3 hours, right? Because you're interested in the above 3, so you don't have to include the at least, which means the equal sign. You can focus more on the more than 3. I'll change that into more than. So when I do that change, let's rewrite the hypothesis into a symbolic form. This means mu is more than 3. The opposite will be mu less than or equal to 3. In this case, this is your claim. So therefore, this is my H1, this is HO. So see, by a little change of the wording, we kind of rework so that H1 contains the claim. So that's what I would suggest. And now I'll show you a few more examples so that, which is very similar idea. Take a look at this. Consider the claim that students working on a part-time job earn no more than $14 per hour. So this is a mean number. Here, let me also point out another suggestion here. It doesn't say average, right? I certainly would add students working on a part-time job earn on average. I would add another term, on average, over there. Now, it says no more than, that means less than or equal to 14, right? Keep in mind, this is your claim. And its opposite is mu greater than 14. This is the H1. This is HO. We rewrite that into equal sign.
you see that this statement, it falls into HO. This claim falls into HO. This is something we don't prefer. How do I reword it? I will say no more than, change that to less than, because you're interested in the lower end of 14. So I will avoid using the no more than. In this case, mu is less than 14, right? And then this becomes H1, and HO is mu is the opposite, which is greater than or equal to 14, and you rewrite it into a equal sign, and this becomes your claim. So that's the suggestion how to write claim into H1. The second suggestion that I have is, I see that students, some students misuse the average. So I would like to say, let's use the average correctly. For instance, okay, take a look at this claim. This claim says the average of boys is at most 60%. And when talking with the student told me that the intention was the percent of boys on campus is at most 60%. So to me, this is a claim about a percentage. This average boy, her intention was the normal person. So it seems to me this average is being abused right here. So how would I rephrase this guy? I'll just say the percent of who are the boys. You have to be specific. Midland boys, right, is at most 60%, and the at most is not ideal. I would say less than, because if you use at most, this statement will be into the HO. So that's how I would my suggestion for this particular statement. And now let's take a look at another. So take a look at this statement. The average Midland student attends at least 2 classes a day. I certainly understand what this student is trying to say. I have just a simple suggestion. I'll say Midland students attend on average, right? On average. This average Midland student sounds not very rigorous to me, so you don't want to use the average in a wrong way. So I'll say on average, use average to describe the number, right? So on average, right there, average. And again, at least 2, I try to avoid using at least, at most, more. I'll write this into more than, so that this statement can be written into H1. So that's my second comment. The last comment is from this particular statement. So take a look at this one. In a class of 30 students, 80% students attend class every day. This is a statement that it's about percentage. That's one of my requirements, write a statement related to a percentage. So you might want to pause the video at this point and resume it once you figure out what's going on, what's wrong with this statement. So what is wrong with this statement? This statement is calling, hey, in a class of 30 students, which is a sample. Inside a sample, it's very easy to figure out whether it is 80% attend class every day or not, right? So you don't you don't write a statement about a sample. You want to write a statement about a population. You can say, hey, in some college, 80% students attend class every day. You're referring a population, and then you use a sample to make a help you make decision. That would be okay, but you should not write a statement about a sample. So those are the examples I collect from my in-person class. If you have questions, feel free to ask.